You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Back in the office today, so that's always like so fucking draining. Like sometimes it's like, yo, it's so good to be around people that otherwise like, damn, I really enjoyed not seeing any of you motherfuckers. Like it's just like it's so draining sometimes, bro. But I've been good, man. How you been?
I've been good, same. I haven't quite had the opportunity to go back to the office yet. So they announced we're going back in January, which if this whole trend keeps up, probably won't be realistic until maybe the spring. My fingers crossed is that this kind of, well, I don't want more deaths, but I do.
What are we talking about?
I do want this to get pushed out as far as possible until the company realizes like, hey, remote work isn't going anywhere. It's the future. It's innovative. It's worked all this time. Can we just be a bit more flexible with that? So that's my only wish. At the expense of someone's life, I can't say that. But in terms of just the mindset of the company being like, yo, this shit isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Let's just be smart about this and also be safe, because going back to the office isn't safe for us right now.
Yeah, dude, because think about back in the day. Like, obviously, I know at your current company, you haven't experienced that yet, but I'm sure you're at old companies, bro. Like, remember, like, if you had the fucking, like, sniffles, they would tell you to stay home because, yo, that shit would spread like wildfire. Like, I remember in my office, like, dude, if someone was sick, like, yo, they were like, that shit was, oh, it's coming. So imagine this, bro. Like, this is probably, like, the most contagious disease that any of us have ever been exposed to. But like, so what are the numbers getting worse in California? Like, why do you expect it to go like even further past January?
Well, I just saw something from Fauci that said, you know, the CDC or something predicts this isn't gonna, like, spring of next year at best is like when things are gonna completely be eradicated or whatever. And that's at best. So if he's saying that shit, granted, like nobody truly knows, but if the experts are saying that it's going to take that long, then I feel like we're going to be dealing with this shit for quite some time, especially with all the variants and stuff.
Yeah, I really hope not, dude. Yeah. No, I get you at that point. So, yeah, dude, who knows, bro? Like, I'm excited. I mean, not excited. Peace of mind for me, because Pfizer was, I think on Monday, was that they said that's properly, fully FDA approved now. So I'm like, all right, so at least whatever's in my body is not some fucking, gonna kill me in a couple of years' time. So that was, knock on wood, a good thing. Do you have Pfizer? You are Moderna gang?
I have Pfizer, but
nice.
I've heard, like, regardless, people with the vaccines have been getting COVID again. So I don't even know if I should feel safe or...
Bro, that's a great thing that you said that, man. Okay, first of all, I've heard, so yes, that's true, but I've heard that the majority of these ERs are by people who aren't vaccinated, right? Like the people who are vaccinated and getting it are still like fine. Like I don't want to get false, like fine, right? Yeah. But the people who are getting this variant and aren't vaccinated are like really in a bad space. Like they're the ones in the ER. Like people who are vaccinated apparently aren't the majority, or I think like only 2% of the people in the ERs are vaccinated from like the numbers that Bloomberg put out there. But dude, what was wild, bro, so I never mentioned before, I work in the healthcare industry, like quote unquote, because like, healthcare staffing. Bro, so I talk to or listen in on calls where doctors are talking to us. And bro, a lot of these hospitals now are requiring doctors to be vaccinated to operate there. It's like, yo, we don't want you to get exposed. We don't want you exposed and getting patients sick and vice versa, right? Dude, I've legit heard 3 doctors say, I am not getting vaccinated. Like, I don't believe in this shit. I will never put this in my body. And I'm just like, bro, I'm listening. Yo, what do you know that I don't know, motherfucker? Like, yo, like, what do you mean? But again, I'm not gonna say my specialty, but I work in a very niche market in healthcare. So I think it's because these doctors aren't really like in the front lines like other doctors are. Mm-hmm. So maybe they think they can pick and choose, when to be in the hospital, when not to be. But that shit was still like, for me was mind blowing, bro. Because legit, like 3 different doctors from 3 different parts of the country saying, I don't give a fuck. If they want me to get the vaccine, I guess I won't go to work there. And I'm just like, dude, what are you talking about, bro? Like, so that's the shit fucks me up.
He was for the longest time against vaccines, and for those who don't know, my dad's a physician, and he was against getting the vaccine. He was sending me and my brothers all kinds of like fucking YouTube conspiracy clips of like other doctors saying the vaccine is like changes your genetics or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he went down this rabbit hole, but now I'm beginning to realize how influenced people are by social media, because nobody's fact checking shit on like either side. So I just kind of took a step back. I'm like, I'll just get the vaccine. If I fucking end up with like a 3rd leg or some shit, then so be it.
Yeah. I mean, again, for me, it was the traveling part of it, bro. Like, again, I had faith. Like, again, I have people. You have it, Billy. Like, all my close friends and family have it. So I was never an anti-vaxxer. It was just like, bro, like, what's the rush? You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think, like, no. I know I had COVID once. I think I had it twice. Thank God I survived. I was like, bro, what's the rush? Like, let's just see how this works out. But again, like, the anxiety of me being in Cancun and like taking a test and like, what if this shit's positive? Like, I wasn't afraid of the symptoms. I'm like, bro, I cannot be stuck here for 2 weeks. Like, that's my thing. Like, that may be a very tedious reason to get it, but like, the fuck, bro, it was my reason. Like, luckily I'm not around older people, on a daily basis. I wasn't putting like my grandma or anybody at risk. So I was like, bro, like, I'm good. But yeah, for me, like, I want to fucking go to I want to go to your wedding next year. I want to do things. I want to go to Colombia for your bachelor party. Like, I need to do things, and I can't be worried about like, bro, you get fucking COVID, sure. You're stuck out there, you can't, and like, that's gonna fuck up my money. You know what I mean? So I can't do that.
Yeah, I felt that pressure in Tulum, which I don't even know if we really talked about, but you
guys had someone come to the Airbnb,
right? No. Well, we ran into another group of people at the Airbnb, like this group of dudes from I forget where, Paraguay or some shit. But we were just paranoid that we were gonna catch COVID because we didn't want to stay in Tulum for like 2 weeks. It was fun, but I think towards the tail end of the trip, like we were working a lot of the time and we were kind of doing the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
Through hookah and house music so many times. So we were like, if we end up here for another 2 weeks, like we might literally kill ourselves. So that was terrifying, but at the same time, we were all vaccinated, so we were pretty sure that we would be fine.
And you got to the test out there, and it was all obviously negative.
Yep. But yeah, we were nervous as fuck because we were like, we couldn't imagine having to stay in the same Airbnb or whatever for 2 more weeks. Yeah.
That's good. That's the main reason I got it. So yeah, dude. Hopefully, I mean, my company's saying November, but I mean, again, they could always easily push it back. I'm like you. I think January is more realistic. But again, I just hope, like, I'm not saying go fully remote, but they got to understand, like, it's been 2 years now of this hybrid model. You got to have a hybrid, bro. It has to be like, 2 days at home, 3 in the office, or vice versa. 3 days at home, 2 in the office, just so, like, shit does get done. And I think if that's a routine, you'll be even more structured with it, right? Because, like, I mean, for me, my company, bro, like, the first 2 months of us doing, like, a day here, a day there, bro, you spend 4 hours just catching up with people. No work got fucking done. So I'm like, so once the nuance wore off, we got down to nitty gritty and stuff. So yeah, I feel like these companies, especially these like massive companies, bro, you have to understand, like, you can't let people become used to working at home every single day of the week and then just say get back in the office 5 days a week. Like, bro, that's gonna, the mental chaos that COVID caused, that's gonna cause other fucking mental chaos and financial chaos, bro. Because I know, like, a lot of people in my company, especially like the lower levels, like, people sold their cars, they did a lot of things financially to make their life work. You can't, like, force people now to go back to an older lifestyle where, like, maybe financially they're not able to really keep up with anymore, right? Like, people went from 2 cars to 1 car. They're now saving close to, like, $200 a week in gas. Like, yo, imagine for someone who's only making like $45K a year, what that can do for them. Like, I feel like you got to be a little bit more considerate.
For sure. And I was just like fantasizing about all the possibilities of if I were to work remote. And I know I could leave companies. Obviously, I don't want to do that right now. But just like the time I spent in Fort Lauderdale, I was like, fuck, it would be dope if, I don't know, I had like a little condo out there or some shit and, you know, could live out there and rent it out if I'm not there. So like all these possibilities that I fantasized about 10 years ago that I thought would never be possible and now seem realistic. But unfortunately, some companies don't seem to be willing to give that up. And I feel like they just want to micromanage people. I'm sure there's some tax cuts and shit that they might get from, I don't know, having the office buildings or something. But
yeah, I mean, at least for us, I know that we leased 4 floors, and I think our landlord is just like, I feel bad for you, but the fucking rent is still due on the first of every month. Like, figure it out. So I think they're saying, like, listen, if we're already paying, I don't know, but I think a lot of companies are like, if we're already paying this rent, let's try to figure out a way to make this work. But again, if it's a hybrid, I'm good. And you know what I mean? Like 2 days here, 3 days there, either way is fine. But then also be aware, like, bro, if I want to go to fucking Spain for a week and say I'm going to work, like, and I work, like, just chill, bro. Because I was doing this for 2 years already, and you know I can do it. Like,
yeah,
you didn't fire me then, so now because there's an option to go to the office, but I choose to go to Spain, like, now I'm like this fucking, like, against company. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Policy change, bro. Like,
I actually had, I was furious. I had a situation when I was in Tulum because I didn't tell my teammate that I was going, and she basically like spazzed out after I was already back. Like, oh, I thought we were partners. I thought you were gonna, be transparent with me and shit. And I'm like,
what does it make a difference?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm literally working the 9 to 5 hours. Like, I don't care if this shit was 12 hours off. I would be awake from 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. or whatever the fucking difference would be. And I think the only reason why she got upset was because she happened to call me once and like it was a little spotty, but like that never is like a common scenario, and we were able to communicate what we needed. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, if this is how companies want to micromanage, then that's just ridiculous. Because I think it's pretty obvious that with this pandemic, you know who's you're able to tell if someone's doing the work or not. It's not like
100%
skirt on by 100% and pretend you're not doing shit. There's meetings, deadlines, like, and I've never failed. So I'm like, I was just like, you need to chill out.
You need to chill out. Yeah, totally agree with that, bro. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. But we're gonna get into the episode now. Episode 83, perfect name, back to work. But we're not talking about us going back to the office. We're talking about all these OnlyFans thoughts that I don't know the name of it, but like the Roos, you know, it seems like their bubble's about to burst. So let the people know what OnlyFans. I think they say in October this new policy goes into effect, right?
Yeah, I believe in October it's going into effect, and essentially they're banning all sexually explicit content. And for obvious reasons, I guess, you know, from an investor standpoint, it's really difficult to get people to be on board with investing in titties and fucking cream pies and shit. So they did a whole 180. I'm not too sure what the long-term outlook is for the company. A lot of people think they're just going to revert back to it, you know, once they're financially impacted and all kinds of stuff. But I think it's made headlines because everyone's like, oh, now these thoughts need to find a real career. And I think even Kevin Samuel was making fun of how Subway applications, you know, were skyrocketing.
Are through the roof now?
All these girls are trying to get real jobs now, basically.
Yeah, the videos, the memes and videos have been phenomenal on social media. I think there was one of like a girl who was on OnlyFans, and now she was crying because now she's gonna become like a real estate agent. And she's like, what do I do? Like, just tell people to buy a kitchen? Like, I don't want to tell people to buy a kitchen. Like, yeah, it was just hysterical, bro. But it's weird though, because I don't know the exact terminology, but they say this kind of business move is very common, right? Like, you try to accumulate as many consumers as you can, and then once you already have them in, you start changing certain policies to just, like you said, like as a business is growing, I don't know if these billion-dollar investors think that, fucking investing in this is the best long-term solution. And dude, also, like, I wonder how much a part of a play, probably the same people investing in OnlyFans also probably have investments in like Pornhub or other major porn industry, right? So like, it's weird. I remember this thing like back in the like early 2000s or 2010s, like when Blu-ray discs was becoming a thing, and like which between DVDs and Blu-ray, who was gonna win? And Blu-ray discs won out because Blu-ray discs were more compatible with the porn industry's like recording methods. So it's just like a lot of things circle back. So like, yo, who has the biggest bag? And like probably the porn industry's like, bro, like y'all want to invest in us, you can't be investing in them. Like shut that shit down. So I wonder like if the pressure from like the porn industry, like yo, like these guys are taking our views, like we can't have that shit. Which again is it's kind of weird to me, bro, because like if you have Pornhub, why would you ever sign up for OnlyFans? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, why, bro?
You mean as a
subscriber,
male subscriber or whatever?
Yeah.
Or even just subscriber? I actually was bored out of my mind and I did not sign up to OnlyFans, but I did go to a Reddit thread to figure out why men would blow hundreds of dollars per month on this shit. And the reasoning I found was that I guess it's a much more personalized experience. Like you can request the girl do certain things. They'll even, I think, respond to you and, just butter you up, call you sweetie and all kinds of bullshit to make you feel you're in a relationship with this motherfucker. And that's why the men invest so much money, I guess, into these women. And it's also kind of like a tease because they may or may not do all the things that like you want them to do. And you get it's like microtransactions essentially.
Got it. And also there's also the thing where like, you usually start following the people who you followed on other media platforms. So you kind of already have like an invested interest in this one specific person. So now you're trying to get, cross the line of like, all right, how much more can I get to know? Or I get that. That kind of makes sense, right? Like when Jules had her fucking OnlyFans, I think she's, I don't know, but like damn, I've been following her for like 3 years and now she's posting other shit. Is it more freak? You know what I mean? Is it freakier than this? Like, so I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, man, it is what it is, bro. This thing, and we'll get into Kevin Samuels in a second, but like we never thought this would be a long-term thing, right? Like at some point, the bubble, like with anything, is gonna pop, right? So like, I get it. It's kudos, like we said before, kudos to the women who fucking made the most money in the time they did. But if your thing was just being naked in front of a screen and fucking shoving things inside of you, like that's not a fucking. You know what I mean? At some point, it's only for so long you think you can do that. So
yeah, the only thing I know people are like kind of celebrating this, particularly the people that like you and I who are like, God damn, like if only we could make $100,000 a month showing a nipple and shit. Yeah. But online like sex work or whatever you want to call it has been around since the internet. So I feel like there's gotta be an alternative that pops up. OnlyFans made way too much money for another platform or maybe even existing one to not just be like, yo, we got like kind of like how Snap had like private snaps and shit. There's gotta be an alternative that these girls are gonna run to. There's no way all this money.
No, you're right. I just think that OnlyFans was the first one that almost gave like credibility to it. So like if you're like an OnlyFans girl, like if there wasn't a shame thing to it. So I wonder like if these other, like I think the key thing for if these girls want to continue this kind of like business, like it has to be something that doesn't seem like sex work, right?
Like Pornhub or something.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like it has to seem like I won't be fucking reprimanded and like shamed by the world for doing it. Whereas I feel like if you had an OnlyFans page, a lot of people had OnlyFans pages, like to be honest, like rappers, like others. So like even though yes, you were getting piped, you were still like on a platform that had credibility. Whereas I think a lot of these off sites, as of now at least, again, like you're saying, things change quickly, but I think these off sites as is now a very negative connotation. It's like, oh bitch, you're just fucking showing your toes, like the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I don't know. So it might be harder for them. But as of right now, it's hilarious, bro, because yeah, man, you be like, at least me, myself, though, I be seeing people who I follow, and like, I'm not gonna say friends, but like people who I know, like, a couple circles away, And you're like, yo, I know how much you kind of. I'm like, yo, you buying houses, dog? Like, yo, you go on trips? Like, yo, how are we doing this, dog? Like, again, never hate, never question anyone else's pockets. But I just be like, bro, like, she gotta have all these messages, you know what I mean? Like, but it is what it is, bro. Like, again, kudos to everyone. Like, it's like the people got in on early on crypto and shit. Like, yo, you found a niche to make your bags. Like, yo, good for you, dog.
Yeah, it is what it is. There's a lot of money out here online. Doesn't have to necessarily involve your genitals, but I guess salute to this new era of the average person just becoming fucking a millionaire overnight.
Yeah, talentless, bro. Like, it's again. That's why, like, I'm not saying guys, but I think people in general are just like happy in this moment, quote unquote, who aren't on that platform, because it's like, bro, go work. Like, actually work. Like, don't tell me you're working out and that's your job, because I work out. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm never at the gym. Like, clocked in, let's go, paying my dues. Like, no, bro. Like, this is just for me to survive and have a good lifestyle. So, like, I think that's what people's thing is, bro. It's like, bro, these are non-talented people, quote unquote, just fucking raking in hundreds of thousands on the weekly, monthly basis. You're like, bro, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, again, shame on the people like us, like, who aren't doing it, because maybe we have too much pride and maybe pride is costing us bags. But again, I feel like pride and that stuff is way more sustainable long term than, like, you know, I think you do OnlyFans probably went around for like 2 years, I think 2.5 years max.
Yeah,
like,
at least, I mean, it's only been like a quote unquote career for people for a couple years. Like,
right, that's junior college, bro. Like, what the fuck is that? That's a blimp in your fucking entire life. So yeah.
And I think what irks people is not even necessarily that, but like a lot of these women won't admit that it's basically sex work and kind of sleazy. Like, a lot of them will be like, oh no, I'm just a model, or I'm just providing attention, and all, like, dancing around the whole issue of like what image this platform really is.
Yeah, but again, it depends what they post, though, right? Because again, because some of these women actually are just posting slightly sexier pictures than Instagram.
Right.
And they're like, if I'm getting 90,000 likes on Instagram, why would I not monetize this for myself on OnlyFans? You know what I mean? So, like, I get that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're already doing it for a full-time job and making barely any money selling fucking tea bags or whatever, like, you know, skinny tea shit. So, I get that, but anyway, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see that the next wave. I know in my company, we're struggling to recruit people to come to work, so maybe we're going to have an influx of just, like, dimes walking around. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone's like, yo, get me back in the office now. We'll go back to 5 times a week. I'll go.
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
But yeah, I want to get into, because we spoke about sex work a little bit. Somehow we fucking dropped this episode like 3 months ago, and that Kevin Samuels one is still getting traction for some fucking reason. So let the people know. He had another, I mean, I think every week he has like a big moment, but the moment you and I saw was wild. So who was the artist he was talking about?
I don't even know her name or how to pronounce it.
Big Bottles Remy or... Yeah, but she's like a rapper though. Like, I don't fucking like.
Yeah, I've never heard her name, and I went to her page, and I don't want to be that guy who like uses followers to validate somebody, but I think she only had like 7K followers, so I don't know how this situation became viral.
Became like a big thing. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck she. Yeah, I don't know her. Damn, I want to know her name though, bro, because I feel bad like calling her out or calling him out and not knowing her name. Kevin Samuels. I'll find it, but give the people an idea of what happened while I look for this.
I mean, based on the clip you sent me, he essentially was like insulting her weight, in a pretty aggressive way. And granted, I don't know what she said to him before this or why the conversation started off kind of more hostile. But he was talking about her belly like drooping down over her legs or some shit. And granted, I mean, it was funny, and it's something, you know, you and your boys might say, just shooting the shit. But as somebody who's, you know, taken this role as like a dating guru or a professional consultant in this space. I just thought it was kind of over the top and excessive. And I think it is because it caters to, of course, his community that wants not even just women, but like they want to see these people come on the show and just get obliterated by him, kind of like all the conservative speakers who have liberals come on and, you know, quote unquote, obliterate them. People just want to see,
and vice versa. That happens. Yeah.
Vice versa, like liberals and conservatives.
Yeah.
People want to see the train wreck, and I feel like the community just doesn't admit that.
Yeah, I think her name was, I found it. I think it's Big Body Wana. Wiana.
Well, at least she's owns up to her physique.
Yeah, I think. Or she always has a. Yeah, it's you spell her name Wyanna. Big Bada Wina. Yeah, dude. It just, again, like the other shit we spoke about. Coincidentally, was the one he had the OnlyFans girls on. There's a different way, bro. Like, there's a different way if you want to talk to her, like, talk about her music and not being effective, or it's like, yo, like, come on, like I don't know. I don't know, because raised by single mom, tons of female family, have sisters, like, you know, have, like, dude, like, if someone spoke to my girl like this, I'm like, bro, you out of your fucking mind, bro? Like, again, there's a way to fucking be disrespectful because, like, you're trying to get a point, like, yo, like, I don't like you, dog, like, but if you're just trying to have someone on a conversation and, like, I don't see the need, like, yo, she's a bigger woman, I don't fuck with her music, blah, 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 but the way he was talking about her stomach, I'm like, I get that's what we may be thinking, but, like, you already know what your platform is. Like, I don't see the need to keep fucking stirring that fire. But then again, that's where, like, I really disagree with when he was on the Joe Budden podcast, like, 2-3 months ago, which we watched when you were here, where he's like, well, you come on my show. Like, kudos to him, bro. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly who his core demographic is. It's fucking, they call us simps, but, bro, those dudes are all fucking heartbroken, can never get a bitch if they wanted to in their fucking life, and are just waiting for him to have these, you know, successful females on who they probably couldn't get, big or skinny, and fucking roast the shit out of them. And, like, they get a fucking hard on and fucking are in his comments like, you're the best. Someone's finally telling him the way it fucking is. And it's like, bro, like, is he though? Or is he just fucking pandering to the, you know, what you want? The same way, like, fucking, like, again, I personally don't think Donald Trump's actually a racist, right? Like, I personally don't. But he knows what the fuck his numbers say. And it's like, bro, if you fucking touch that hot button, you're going through the roof. Dude, Kevin Samuels doing the same fucking thing, bro. He's doing the same fucking thing.
And that's why people need to stop putting so much investment into these influencers, because the thing is, when they do make a mistake or the person does disagree, they just turn a blind eye and many of these followers won't, you know, own up to that and take accountability. Like, damn, what this dude said here or did here was kind of crazy. So I'm not going to necessarily support that, but I'm going to support this. A lot of the followers are just like, yo, this nigga could chop off a cat's head on the video. And they're like, oh, well, you know, this is part of the
community. The cat came up. It's his show.
Yeah. Stop being so emotional, you simp.
Yo.
Yeah, it's wild. And I just hope that people realize that these influencers also have, you know, bills to pay, and they're not going to stray too far away from their own brand, because that could fuck everything up and up everything. And I think the Trump thing was a great analogy. That's exactly how a lot of these influencers operate. At least the ones who don't have as much integrity. They're willing to fucking pander to the audience and get them to stay, essentially.
Yeah, dude, and, like, grow, right? Because, I mean, that's like not a small market, dude. Like, a bunch of, you know, think about high school, bro, or college, or, you know, the workspace, bro. Like, there's a bunch of, like, those awkward guys who, you know, really can't talk to females, or everyone has a terrible horror, sort of a girl breaking their heart, and you just can't go over it, unfortunately, at times. And, like, now they feel like they have an to not only chime into the conversation, but now they have a guy who's at a very high level doing the fucking clapbacks for them. So I can see why they're fucking diehard fans. But yeah, it's just wild how like he seems so enabled to just literally just, yo, whatever the fuck I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say. And it's just like, damn, bro, like you don't think there's a better way to say that? Like, again, because the thing's like, I don't think a lot of the shit he's saying is wrong. I'm just like, bro, there has to be a better way to say it. But again, he knows the better way. It's just like, bro, why would I fuck my money up? And again, kudos. Like, it is, again, I'm not telling you it's wrong. I'm just telling you why I don't think either of us fucks with it. It's like, bro, like again, back to the OnlyFans thing, bro. Like, at some point, this bubble's also gonna pop, you would think. So, like, yo, do you want to have integrity? You know, you look back at your life, like, is your legacy gonna be integrity? Or you just realize, yo, there was a small pocket in society at this time that I could really get away with anything and make tons of money. And again, if that's your goal, then kudos. But I don't know, bro. Like I would find it very fucking hard to look myself in the mirror after like half the shit he fucking says, bro. Because I'm like, bruh, like wow, dude.
And speaking of bubbles popping, I don't know if you're up to date with like this whole red pill community space, which is what this is. It's essentially like a reference to the Matrix, unlocking the truth and, you know, the cold hard truth of how to deal with women and become a high value man and all that shit. And the Fresh and Fit podcast, which actually had those OnlyFans women on, they had a feud with another podcast within the space, and essentially we're outed for like bribing women to come onto the podcast, and you know the exchange would be that they get to fuck the women before these women would get on. And apparently one of the dudes from the Fresh and Fit podcast was on like a sugar daddy site, and they're always preaching like this alpha male bullshit. But fortunately, I believe they go by Abla and Preach, outed the podcast and basically said, you guys are fake alphas. Like, we didn't want to have to out you and expose you, but since they were disrespectful and started talking about Preach, his wife, and just saying all kinds of wild shit, we got more followers than you, we get more bitches than you, like typical high school shit.
Yeah.
Now Fresh and Fit is thrown under the fire, and people are beginning to expose this bullshit culture. And it's sad because it targets men with low self-esteem who've been unsuccessful with women and are just looking for a community to belong to. And I just find it so ironic. Like, do you really think alpha males would be spending hours on YouTube taking notes how to be an alpha male from some random fucking guru?
Yeah.
Maybe has some credentials, but I find it hard to believe that the men out there getting all kinds of pussy are on YouTube doing this shit. Maybe it helped you in one or two instances, but you are not inherently this perfect alpha male that you think you are just because of one or two things Kevin Samuels or any of these dudes might have said to you that clicked.
Yeah, 100%. Dude. I didn't realize he added them though. That's fucking dope. So like, did they have like a comeback post yet or no?
No, they basically apologized, and it got pretty serious because they brought someone's fucking wife into it.
Oh wow.
And they diss like this pretty Preach. He's like this bulky Haitian dude, and he's like, yo, I'll be back in Miami, like if you're trying to square up. And the dude got scared, bought a gun. Apparently a goon like who used to be on the show showed up to the podcast with the gun. So like this situation got definitely out of control. And of course, you know, alphas who aren't supposed to be emotional got hella emotional about this shit. And it just got out of hand. And it's sad. And I actually knew somebody in college who he literally worked for like a one of those pickup artist companies, and he would always, anywhere we went, this motherfucker had an opportunity to bring up, you know, how he approaches women and the best strategy and never seek validation and all this other bullshit, and would spend all his nights trying to get pussy. And granted, if you talk to 100 chicks, sure, like
it's a numbers game.
I might fuck you.
Yeah.
Cool. But I remember in college, he got so angry when he was part of a dance group that was on television, and none of the girls were running up to him, and he got all butthurt and was like, oh, I dance better than these motherfuckers. Like, how come they're not talking to me? So clearly it's all just like a fraudulent, oh not all, but it's very fraudulent in a lot of aspects. I'll admit, like I've taken tips here and there from people who've like been in the space on how to like approach people and women in the past, but like I never bought into this shit like it was a straight up religion, which just essentially almost encourages abusing women and just being manipulative in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it definitely has a cult following, and like in the negative connotation that word carries, like fully. Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's essentially their fucking messiah right now, dude. Like, he is doing exactly what they want all the time, not remorseful, and then they're in part, again, I don't know if they're applying this shit or they just love being at home, being able to see it and like live vicariously through him. So I don't know, man, but it's again, it's a strange time. Again, like I said before, I don't think this podcast disagrees with the context of the shit Kevin Samuel says, but just the approach, bro. And the approach seems very, again, it's so outlandish that it can't just be by coincidence anymore, right? It's not just, oh, you came on the show, oh, well, you said this about me. It's like, no, bro, this is now just who you are. And like, you're doing this because you know you have, you know, the same way, like I said, Trump, like, you know, he has people who needs to keep engaged. You know, your fans, you need to keep them engaged. So again, they're not going anywhere anytime soon, but I really do wonder, like, long term, like the fans and him and like other similar platforms, like I feel like you're gonna look back and be like, really, bro, like we had to be this hard, like that's what we did to make money back then, like, all right.
And I don't even necessarily want like these dating gurus or whatever to go away, because I think they do provide valid insight.
Yeah, there's some value for sure. Yeah.
But then, like, I saw this video of the Abba and Preach dudes, the dudes who exposed Fresh and Fit. They were arguing, or one of the members was arguing with a guy who I believe was tied to the Fresh and Fit cast, and he had a whiteboard on the back of him that said "No simping." And I'm like, damn, if this isn't a cult, then I don't know what the fuck.
Wow,
that is some extra shit. And if you have to remind yourself no simping when you wake up in the morning, you probably are a simp. So.
Yeah, dude, but the thing is, like, they also, the context of simping is, like, they consider anything you say remotely defending women or being nice to women as simping. Like,
yeah.
Like, what, bro? Like, we were like,
punch a bitch in the face when you.
Yeah, dude, like, it's corny, bro. I don't want to quote a fucking 25-year-old rap lyric, but, like, we all came, like, Pac, we all came from women. Like, bro, how, how does that not register, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there wouldn't be a me without a female. So I'm gonna fucking turn around and be a dick to every female I know because they don't want to give it up to me exactly the time I want, or she thinks she's better than me, so I have to bring her down to my level. Like, I don't know, bro. That just seems odd to me. Like, odd.
I think the real issue is, and they'll probably, a lot of the people in the community won't admit it, but they secretly, not admire, but desire, like strippers and OnlyFans type chicks, the super scantily clad, you know, porn star looking type chick who to begin with is toxic, and they know that, and it drives them crazy that they won't get a woman like that. So they go to the extreme and feel like you basically need to treat them like shit. I find it hard to believe these motherfuckers are looking, you know, going to the library and christianmingle.com to find thinking about the bitch on Instagram who has 10,000 followers and left them on red. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. They're in their DMs talking to themselves for sure. For sure. But let's see, man. We'll see what the comments say about this. We'll probably get destroyed, but I stand by it, bro. Like, again,
helps the algorithm, so please.
Yeah. Shit on us, bro. Simp. I look at my whiteboard. I'm like, simp every day. So it's all good. But yeah, I guess like the biggest, dude, I'm gonna go into like a different segment I want to bring up in a second here. But I guess the biggest thing in music, though, man, just to bring it back before we get out of here, is has to be the Kanye thing, right? Like this whole, now he's doing another Donda performance, I think this week or next week in Chicago at Soldier Field, which again probably is gonna be dope. I think he's recreating his childhood home from Chicago when he grew up, dude. But now him and Drake seem to be going back and forth. I think Kanye posted Drake's address and like the distance from his house, how to get to Drake's house, and deleted it. Drake responded with him just laughing like on IG Live. Like, bro, like I get like this reminds me a lot of like the Kanye and 50 Cent thing. Like, yeah, let's just make people think we're beefing, but we're not really beefing, but we're kind of beefing. Like, do you believe it though? Like, do you honestly believe they're beefing right now, or you think it's just like a stunt to like make both their numbers like just go up crazy when they drop?
It's tough to say. I feel like this question comes up a lot of times when albums are about to be released, and then all of a sudden these antics just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like Kanye is apparently changing his name to Ye, like legally.
Yeah.
No fucking reason right now. Like even shit like that makes me question it. But I find it hard to believe Drake would be doing this. Or,
like the pandering, like be involved in. Yeah.
I could see Kanye doing this, but not Drake. I feel like Drake is just shrugging it off. I feel like Kanye knows it's riling the people up, and I feel like Kanye is a little more unstable, kind of has nothing to lose. But I don't see Drake doing this shit on purpose.
So you don't think there's like some conspiracy that they're just like to drop on the same day and just see who wins the Friday release numbers?
I think it's possible. Especially
you think it is possible?
Yeah, especially with that Trippy verse. I don't know when it was recorded, but the timing of that was fucking crazy too.
Dude, apparently it was recorded like right before. Like the song dropped midnight on Thursday, and I think up until like a couple days before, Drake didn't give it to Trippy yet to drop.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is like 50-50 for me. What do you think?
Yeah, dude. Again, it's wild though, right? How we like again. Drake's a younger artist. Like Kanye's probably like fucking Mount Rushmore of like hip hop, talent. Yeah. But we're still probably both siding with Drake. Like, nah, I don't think Drake would do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's too good for that. But yeah, at some point, you have to get away from the feelings of this shit and just look at the facts, bro. Like, he's been pushing back this album for a while now. So maybe this is something to create buzz. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know, bro. Like, see, to my comments last week, like, I don't think the only reason why I'm citing this is not. I'm citing like 55% that it's not a publicity stunt, because like to our point last week, I don't think Drake needs it. You know what I mean? Like Drake can fucking breathe on IG Live and people lose their mind, right? Yeah. He could fucking post a picture of him in a fucking baggy sweater looking like a fucking 15-year-old girl, and everyone's like, oh my god, what does this mean? You know what I mean? Like, just like, so I don't think he needs it. This is why I'm slightly leaning towards like it's just Kanye trying to like keep a buzz, but the timing seems very suspect to me. Like, very suspect. Because clearly we know the albums are coming now. So, like, are they just waiting to figure out, like, on the behind the scenes, like, all right, what day are you thinking? Well, I'll be ready by this day. Should we drop at the same time? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like, but I'm leaning towards it's not that, but, like, there's enough to make me question it.
Right. I guess, like, thinking about it more, I just don't understand what, like, if there's any two artists that don't need to generate buzz to sell well, it would be them two. I could see, I don't know, someone like Trippie Redd or 6ix9ine or some shit doing tons of antics to generate sales. But for Kanye and Drake, I'm like, why? Like, even if they did nothing, I could see them selling at least 200,000 copies or the equivalent. So I just don't get what the ultimate benefit or goal with this shit is. Just to be like, yo, I got as many straight looks as possible, or what?
So, dude, what? Okay, I agree. I don't see the benefit either. But the only thing I would say, in this new era of stream, like attention, really, like attention, the way attention's sold these days, right? I think they've seen, dude, even J. Cole dropped a classic album, right? Classic, like like not even old J. Cole, just like a J. Cole that we've been dying for a while, like talking that shit. Tyler dropped a phenomenal album this year. Bro, that's it. You have a week, 2-week buzz, and everyone moves the fuck on, bro. Like, no one's talking about that shit anymore. You know what I mean? So I wonder if this is not even really about the album dropping. It's just about having their name in the news every single day is now making this the longest rollout in anticipation ever. So that time alone before the album even drops, their stocks are only going up, right? Because I feel like attention is currency right now. And dude, we've been talking about this shit. The world was talking about this shit for like fucking the entire year already. Like, yo, when are they dropping? Is it January? Why hasn't he dropped yet? Why? Where's Dondo? What do you mean he did another Dondo? When, you know what I mean? So like, I think this may be all just like, how can we keep our names in the headlines right now? Because if we go the normal route, hey, you're dropping an album next week, I feel like the proof is in the pudding. That just doesn't equate longevity as far as that project. Like, dude, because like too many dope shit has dropped this year, and bro, everyone just moves the fuck on. Like, well, what's next Thursday? What's next Thursday? It's just like, yo, we just had a classic. Yeah. But what's next Thursday? And it's like, yo, like, so that's why I can see, like, again, like we said last week, like, yo, like, I don't, why the fuck do you need the antics? But that may be the other side of it. At least just me thinking out loud, like, just to keep their name in the fucking headlines, because otherwise, like, yeah, you drop a great album, bro. Kudos to you. You know, 5 stars on 5 out of 5 on, you know, Complex. But then, like, then what? You know what I mean? Like, we just fucking move on to the next artist who's dropping. Whereas, like, right now, dude, I think other artists are afraid to drop because they don't want to compete with those two. So now they're fucking getting rid of competition. So really, all the hip hop media, pop culture media is just talking about these two artists, bro. We're not talking about Lil Baby. We're not talking about Moneybagg. You're not talking about anybody, bro. It's just these two guys. So maybe this is the plan. Like, yo, let's just keep all the headlines and we'll eventually drop. But until then, we've taken over 75% of the news outlet for the year, which, you know, that has to equate into monetary dollars as well.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Yeah, and I was thinking about Nas. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's what you were alluding to, but his album is pretty much dead and gone unless you're like a diehard fan or you just like real hip hop. Like,
yeah, unless we bring it up. You know what I mean? Like, unless we bring it up, like people are like, yeah, that happened 2 weeks ago, bro. Move on. It's like, bro, it's a fucking classic. What do you want me to?
And with and I do now anticipate Kanye and Drake's albums a bit more with the antics, because now I'm like, oh,
right.
Are they gonna add another song that addresses this shit, or are they gonna address some secret shit that caused this in the first place? So it definitely does have that effect on the people. I guess I just didn't realize how like egotistical music can be, because as someone who's not famous and just makes it for fun, like this is a whole nother like realm of shit that seems pointless, but I guess when it feeds you and your entire family and friends, then you really do think about this extra shit more commonly. Yeah,
100%, bro. These guys are, you know, egomaniacs, bro. Like, I feel like to be at that top dog level, you have to be. So, I guess the last thing before we get into heat of the week, let the people know. You sent me this, I think, on like Thursday or Friday, but the Kendrick announcing that he's gonna drop his last album on TDE. Like, dude, first of all, like that whole whoever like manufactured that whole like old looking file, and then you had to click that, and then like the shit was very cryptic and like perfect. So like when you sent that to me, I'm like, is this a virus? Like, wait, is my phone gonna just blow up for even clicking? I was like, bro, what is this? Are you fucking spamming me? But yeah, no, so like again, I mean, I can say like, yeah, so it was Kendrick Lamar announcing that he's been going through a lot of grief. I don't know, but just like normal people passing because of life or because of COVID, you know, destroying his family. But he alluded to this being his last album. But it wasn't clear though, like last album ever, or was it just like I need to move on from TDE and do something else? Like how did you interpret that?
See, I feel like this is where these rappers like play mind games, because now it's left up to interpretation. I interpret it as last album ever, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of those artists, maybe not disappears from music forever, because I feel like if you truly have a passion for it, like it's impossible.
You can't just stop. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he released his album and then disappeared again for another fucking 8 years or some shit, or just did
come back as like a 57-year-old rapper, just like, I'm back, baby. We're like, oh, we don't know you, bro.
Well, yeah, that's how I interpreted it, as him being basically gone again for essentially.
Yeah, dude, I would say only because, like, bro, I get TDE's a massive label, but it's massive because of Kendrick. like, yes, dude, you look at their roster, bro, like studs, right? Like female SZA, you got fucking Schoolboy Q, who's it?
J-Rock.
Yeah, bro, like studs. But at the end of the day, we think of Kendrick, bro. So I could never see him like leaving a label over like contract disputes. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Oh, I would hope like that couldn't happen, bro. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. So maybe I'm being naive. Again, both of us, we're not in the industry. We don't know how cutthroat these things could be. Like, you know, someone's your friend, but really fucking you over. But yeah, I would hope, like, my hope it's not that. It's just him saying, I'm off music. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going through way too much and I got to focus on that. And, you know, yes, maybe my contract obligation is, you know, whatever number of albums that's done at the end of this and I'm just taking a step away. But I can never, I would hope it's not like, fuck TDE, I'm out of here, I can't wait to drop this album, move the fuck on. Like, I can't see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, I at least based on like previous bodies of work and things he said here and there, it seemed like fame hit him pretty hard and like he became, I mean, definitely at one point I feel like he was crowned like a better, bigger rapper than Drake.
Yeah, dude, he got a fucking Pulitzer Prize for fucking Damn. Fucking Barack is saying he's the greatest rapper alive. Like, at some point that has to fuck with you, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like maybe at that point it's kind of hard to be inspired, especially when you think about like all the other kind of music that's coming out of hip hop. And maybe he's just like, yo, I've accomplished everything I could have possibly.
Bro, he did the soundtrack for Black Panther, bro. Like, that's wild.
Right. So like, just imagine how much pressure you would have to continue going. And I feel like this pandemic probably made him realize, like, you know, one, his family and friends are precious. Two, maybe develop some other passions. And he's like, yo, I want to do this rap shit, finish up maybe some songs he was working on. But instead of saying I might do music in the future, he's like, fuck it, this is my last album. And I'll do it if I want to come back. Yeah,
dude, again, remember, Jay-Z did the same thing back in like 04, 05, just saying like, yo, I'm done with this. And he came back within like 2 or 3 years. Again, we don't know what the future is, but also like it kind of goes back to the old thing we said back in the day about like Virgil and Kanye. It's like, bro, just because like we love the one thing that they give us doesn't mean they're one dimensional. You know what I mean? Like, people have other crafts, bro. Like, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Yes, it was Kobe Bryant's birthday, but like even him, bro, like that's the sad thing. Like, he retired from basketball, and then the motherfucker won an Oscar 16 months later. Like, bro, like people can do other things. So yeah, maybe you know, maybe Kendrick's like one of those people. Like, bro, I know I can do other things. Like, why are you limiting me to just this? Like,
right.
But again, we get spoiled because, you know, it's a gift to us, and like, you know, we can never sometimes verbalize the clear thoughts he's having over a fucking tremendous fucking trap beat. You're like, bro, like, don't take this away from us. But like, it's like, bro, who the fuck are you? Like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. So, yeah, man. So yeah, I took it like, hopefully it's just like him saying, I'm done with music for a minute. But either way, you know, the buzz for that album is going to be stupid. So,
oh yeah.
So Kanye and Drake better call his fucking team and figure out when he's gonna drop and stay the fuck away from that, because that's gonna fucking that shit's gonna dominate for sure.
Oh, 100%. And while I think Drake and Kanye are amazing, I think the fact that Kendrick is so like mysterious and reclusive.
Yeah, there's a different level. There's a different level. Yeah. There's a different level because to your point, he's so reserved. Like, we feel like we know Kanye and Drake. Like, we know Kanye is a crazy genius, and we're like, we know Drake is this playboy, you know, we know too much maybe.
Yeah.
With Kendrick, we don't know enough, and then he drops the body of work to like, yo, we need more. And then he dips for 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So for sure, like for sure, Good Music and OVO have to reach out to TDE, because dropping within a month of that album is not going to be a good move.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, man. All right, so I want to do a quick little new segment. We'll try it out on this episode. The segment's going to be audio history, okay? So it's going to be, because it's kind of brought point last week, like, we keep seeing all these fucking drops, bro. I think I texted you over the weekend. I'm like, bro, did you even like anything that came out on Friday? And we were like, yeah, it was all right. You know, So I wanted to go back in time and pick maybe classic projects that we both loved and just like maybe take like a 2-minute deep dive. All right, so audio history is going to be the segment. I want to go back to 2015. All right, Drake, a fucking 28-year-old Drake and a 31-year-old Future dropped the joint mixtape "What a Time to Be Alive," and bro, that was like 6 or 7 songs. But bro, that in itself just felt like a moment in hip hop where everything stopped, bro. Mm-hmm. Like it's like, bro, what do you mean they're dropping an album together? Why would they do this? This doesn't happen. And like, yo, and it wasn't like the joint EPs we got afterwards, which Future has 4 of these, which have been fucking flops, right? But to have these two artists at the height of their fucking like artistry and mystique, everything, to I think they were on tour together. But, people get fucking drunk and high and fuck bitches on tour. Like, they don't make classic albums, you know what I mean? So, for them to come together with a fucking... Dude, I think Metro Boomin was only like 22 years old when he fucking produced every single song in this fucking album. Shit. Like, for all that to happen, like, what a time to be alive, bro. Because that is wild. Like, those fucking stars aligned and this shit was perfect. And I was playing back to, like, yo, there's an argument to be made that this really is a Future album featuring Drake on a couple of songs. Because Future has like 2 songs where it's just him and they fucking slap. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So either way, though, like I just wanted to like try this segment out. But like, what were your thoughts, like your moments in life when that album did drop in 2015?
Was Diamonds on that?
Yep.
Okay. That song to this day is still like one of my favorite songs ever. I don't know.
Bro, there's like 3 or 4 songs that are like classics, bro. Timeless.
Shit, 2015. That was, depending on which month, but that was around the time when I first, I just got a new job. I don't know. And I feel like at that era or during that era, hip hop wasn't so like beef heavy, if that's even like a fucking statement to make. I just felt like there was so much classic shit coming out, and I'm having a brain fart right now trying to think of what other pivotal moments might have came out of that year. Was that when Fetty Wap?
Fetty Wap was the year before.
Okay, Fetty Wap was the year before.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just look up.
During that time, too, that also was when, like, obviously, I know Khaled has been doing this shit for a while, but, like, that's when Khaled was having, like, heavy hitters on his projects, as opposed to, like, just the Miami people, you know what I mean? Like, that's a song where, like, I think Kendrick has a song with Khaled has a song with Kendrick and Big Sean, on one of those.
Oh, yeah.
That was that time.
Mm-hmm. Fan of a fan with Chris Brown. I remember bumping that shit quite a bit when he and Tyga linked up. And what else? I don't know. Overall, it just felt like a good era of music.
Good time of music, bro. A lot of love back then. Yeah. There was a lot of love back then. I think Laser was really taking off as well, incorporating dancehall into hip hop. If you're reading this, it's too late. Also came out that year. Bro, think about that, bro. A fucking 28-year-old Drake just fucking like, yo. That's what I'm saying. Even more reason, because I think that came out before this. What a Time to Be Alive. So to think like you had that, and no, speak about rollout. There was no rollout for that album. That shit just dropped. Right. And then we were like, what the fuck is this on my phone? You know what I mean? Like, and there were bangers on that shit. So for him to drop that and then still give us this with Future, who at that time was like the guy. Like, there was no one else doing, trap R&B like fucking Future. So, yeah, bro, that title holds up very well, bro. That album's almost fucking 7 years old or 6 years old. And dude, I heard that shit at the gym the other night. I was like, oh my God, bro. Like, I think like the ears we have now, because we do this, like, I didn't have these ears back then. Cause like the way I'm listening to shit like that album now, I'm like, God damn. Like, I think back then we just took it for granted. It's like, oh, this is Drake just doing Drake shit. Like, it's dope. Now I'm like, yo, there was fucking Drake and Future on the same fucking album for 8 tracks. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, like shit like that is what I want to talk about in audio history. Once a week you'll pick an album, I'll pick an album, we'll just chop it up because I think to the point we were making about Kanye and Drake, like there's just so much shit coming out now, bro. Like I think we lose sight at times of like what's like a fucking gem. And I know over time we have so many gems that we're kind of glossing over. So I think it's only right on this podcast to look back and just fucking give people their flowers. So that one was very flower worthy. Again, I'm telling you, I don't know I'm telling you, I didn't look up Drake and Future's age, but like I feel like Metro Boomin just had a birthday and turned like 27, so he must have been like 22, 23 when that. And like to think he made every beat is wild to me, dude. And to see what he is now. Like, he can do everything now, bro. The fact that that same producer who made Diamonds made the entire fucking... Not the entire fucking, but a majority of the hits for The Weeknd in 2020 is crazy. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, man, it's just phenomenal. So, like, there's so many gems out there, and luckily we have a platform to talk about it, so we'll do more of that. So it's on you next week to find a gem.
100%. Let's do it.
Nice, man. But all right, bros, get to the heat of the week. Get out of here. So what's one song or one project did stand out to you over the weekend that was repeat worthy?
Yeah, I don't think I brought this up or had a chance to because I know we were off a couple weeks, but in Tulum I discovered this song. Well, not in Tulum, but I discovered it throughout that trip and then was playing it in Tulum. The song is called 4K by Duckworth and Fabo.
Oh, you sent me the song, but we haven't added to the playlist yet. Yeah.
I never made it heat of the week, but really love the track. Whenever you have a chance to listen to it, it definitely sounds like something Don Toliver should have been on.
Okay.
The beat just has that vibe, but it's a really smooth track you would listen to, like if you're at home alone or riding your whip or whatever, drinking, just hanging out. It's not really like a workout track, but super cool vibes and just easy to listen to. And I've probably played that at least like 60 times at this point. So super good song.
So perfect for like chilling in paradise when you were in Tulum, like just vibes.
100%. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, for me, I was struggling, but there was. So it's funny you sent me that thing today, where like that page where they were shitting on Trippie Redd because it all sounds the same, bro. But honestly, I heard that album and I actually enjoyed it, dude, because I was like, it sounded like one cohesive thing. Like I get the point, like it sounded like a video game, but like maybe like different parts of the video game. Like it was like this, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I actually enjoyed it. I've been a fan of Trippie since he linked up with XX. And dude, the funny thing, I was thinking about XX when like a song came on, that I changed my. Oh, this was XX. Like he had a fucking song with X that would never get released before until that project. So I would recommend everyone go check out the Trippie Redd album. But I mean, for me, the standout was the song Betrayal with Drake. I think it's a good look for Drake because he just sounds good over any beat. It's a good look for Trippie Redd, but I remember they do have some kind of relationship though, because Drake sent Trippie Redd the beat for God's Plan, and then Trippie Redd turned it down. So I think they've been having some like friendship for some years now, but never put it on actual record. Yeah. So that was cool too. So again, Trippie Redd's always been a talent to me. He also had that song with Diplo called Wish. Wish. Talk about songs that I play that fucking song a million times on my phone by myself. So I've always thought Trippie was talented. So it was just cool to see that massive cosign from Drake, because I don't think a lot of people knew that Drake was really fucking with him like that. So that was cool.
Nah. Yeah, that was dope. And I was kind of like worried that the whole God's Plan thing might have resulted in like a falling out behind the scenes or something. But
it's like, yeah, nigga, why are you telling people that shit? It's like
right. But clearly, I mean, obviously God's Plan was a way more monumental moment. But the fact that the Drake Kanye
like
beat, part of it is like almost like a decent compromise in a way.
Yeah. Again, he's in the equation. He's in a conversation he probably would never have been in unless it's because it's Drake. So that can only take people to listen to his shit. And I think if you listen to like our listeners, if you listen to his album, you actually will enjoy it because it's fun. Like it's fun music, bro. Like it's I think some of his old shit was kind of depressing. And I remember we saw him at Rolling Loud in 18, and it was like he was just singing, and it was like, it's not bad, bro, but why are you so fucking sad? You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, you're young, you're fucking rich, be happy. I think we get that version of Trippie Redd on this album.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. It was a good album to have and bump.
Yeah, especially when I don't think there was much else that came out last weekend that I was like, oh my God, play that back. I was like, ugh. But we'll see what happens this week, bro. We'll let the people know where they can check us out and what we got going on.
Yes, sir. Check us out at audio-theory.com. We're on all major streaming platforms. New episode every week. You can catch the Spotify and Apple Music playlist as well to get the heat of the week selections. In terms of what we got coming up, I believe we're going to continue our interview series. A couple candidates in mind. Just need to take the time to review them and set things up. Then, of course, we're working on the merch designs as well. So hopefully we get that out to you guys soon. But also, if there's any other topics like outside of music, even though we try to keep it music focused, that you think we should dive into, or even within the music space, feel free to comment and let us know as well.
Yeah, big facts. DM us. You won't be talking to yourself in our DMs. We'll reply. So we'll figure it out. But my dude, great seeing you. I'm excited about the news. You have to go to work till next year. That's a fucking blessing. So definitely make the most of the rest of the year. But I will see you next week, and we'll chop it up soon, bro. Love you.
Sounds good, man. Love you too. Peace.
Peace.